Hi everyone, welcome back to Creative Frenzy. I've been in the studio. It's now the new year, we're in 2020, and I've been wanting to expand my horizons a little bit on YouTube and in the blogging world. So I've started a blog, the link is down below. It'll be interesting, let's put it that way. It's still in its infancy and we'll see how far I get. I don't know. Feel free to check it out. Please don't judge me. I'm just starting. Baby steps here, and I really would like to expand more on it, but I will work on that as I go. However, today's project is something I wanted to create for my daughter for Valentine's Day. It's not jewelry, and it's not cards, it's not, you know, any other plethora of things that we could be creating. Today I'm making more or less a little trinket tray or a little dish that she could set on her dresser or on a shelf. It's made out of sheet copper. It's made of metal. It's 36 gauge and it just comes in a roll like this. And you can cut it with scissors because it's fairly thin. You could use tin snips too, but it gets sharp. So you see these little bits? Be careful. It's, you know, sharp. Don't hurt yourself. I've cut myself more than once back in the day, so a little bit goes a long way. So you could use like little Japanese snips like this. I just got this from bead landing at Michael's, or, you know, eventually because I was really close to the edge, it didn't want to cut properly, so I just used good old scissors. I've had these for a while. These are the ones I use for anything and everything, like glue and carpet, or, you know, you need something to cut something with. These are pretty handy. They have a nice rubber handle, so it's easier on the hand. So those are very, you know, particular cutting tools that you would use. Don't use your good fabric scissors for this. Please don't. Anyway, I used a Fisker's template with circles. I thought this would be the easiest. It's about the right size. I used the largest, what is that, 4-inch circle? I think that's the one, yeah, the 4-inch circle. So that would be my largest size, and then I ended up with a size like this. So eventually, this is what you end up with. I just use my little tool, like a little pokey tool, just to draw the circle onto the metal sheet, and then I don't have to worry about erasing, you know, marker or anything like that. It's just easier to do it this way. All I did was it took a while because you have to really sort of, you know, work away from the center and out. There are some really good jewelry books out there. I have a few of them. Now I don't remember which ones I have. They're in front of me. I can't read it from here. I don't have my glasses on. But I will be putting this into a blog form and I will show you some of the books that I reference. So all I do is I start in the center. Or I first texturize it, so I flatten it a bit and I texturize it, and the more you work with the metal, the harder it will get. Now, I don't find you need to anneal this because it's fairly thin. Now, I do have a sanding block. It is a sponge sander that I get at the dollar store, and then I just use one of these old, baking tins. Now, I can't use it for baking anymore because the bottom has rusted for some weird reason. I don't know. Things just sort of happen over time, right? So I just use it now for my jewelry making. It's perfect for that. So I don't have to worry about it getting messed up or whatever. It's cheap. It's recycling or reusing, whatever the case may be. But I use these sanding blocks I get at the dollar store. They're spongy. So it's nice and soft to really sort of work your metal onto it. I use it for all my other jewelry also. And then I just have one area where it can just get kind of messy and I don't get it everywhere else because the sandpaper comes off and then the fine powder from the metal comes off and things like that. And then you just use a polishing cloth to clean it up. And then, because I'm a little extra, I made little, I don't know if you can see these, yeah. So I made little These are all semi-precious gemstones. So I have the rose quartz, I have purple, I have some amber, some green, some watermelon, tourmaline. These are all just like little chips. You can get them at Michael's very easily. They're available there. You can probably get them online too. But they're pre-drilled, which is nice. I don't have to worry about drilling them. And then all I've done is made little holes. Random little, well, maybe not so random. I started, you know, north, south, east, west, and then you work everywhere in between. So it's not an exact measurement. I don't like to measure. What can I say? So I'm going to scoot you down. Hopefully I am not going to mess this up. And then I will show you. Whoop, there we go. Okay, so basically what you do is you rest your bowl on here. And then all you do is you keep working from the center out in little concentric circles. And the more you do that, the deeper the bowl will get and the more of a bowl shape you will achieve. And you have to be careful not to have too harsh of an edge because you want to make sure you don't poke through this. So now this will hold its shape quite nicely. It is not, you know, pottery by any means, but it'll do. And then it has this lovely kind of ruffled edge. And in the center where you've had your hammer, it is a different kind of finish than on the edges. So the edges is more of a coppery look. And then because I did all my texturizing beforehand, you have this lovely textured organic kind of bowl that is very nice to sort of, you know, there's something very beautiful about its original shape. I don't want to make it too smooth. I want it to be very rustic. In my opinion, that's where the beauty lies in this kind of project. And the fact that it'll hold whatever you want it to. So it's beautiful, it's organic looking, and you know, it's useful. So what I've done is I've made my little holes with one of these. It's by Impress Art. It's just a little hole punch for metal. You can do up to 1/8 of an inch thickness, I think. No, that's the size. Anyway, it can go to quite a large thickness for this, so I have no problems going through thicker brass plate. But you could use a small little hole punch or an awl or even a little pokey tool like this and then put it in there. Obviously not in this, but if you had your little block underneath, you could totally do that. It's thin enough that you could use something like this. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that all your little holes all along the edge are nice and smooth, so you don't have any little snags. So I just use my flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers, and then I just go like this to flatten them so they're not going to be rough. So at this point, I've made all my little pieces with the rose quartz. All I'm going to do is attach my little pieces all around the edges. Now you can do any color you want. You could have it go on the inside, you could have it go on the outside. It depends. If you want to put it up on the higher shelf, you absolutely can have it all on the outside so you can see the quartz. If you want to do it on the outside or on the inside because you have it on the shelf closest to you, then you absolutely could do it that way. Now this reminds me a little bit of, you know, the little tin cake pans that you can get. You know, they used to sell those before cupcake liners came into play. So I thought it has the same kind of feel to it. Now make sure that your holes are not too far from the edge so that you can actually feed your little jump rings through. But you can see how that's sort of, you know, it's starting to come together. So that is the idea. Obviously, you could use these in your office if you wanted to. You wanted to put some special paper clips in there, or some washi tape. I don't know. I think they're a great little decorative piece. You can flame paint these. Sorry, I am really off here. You can flame paint your copper with just a torch or a lighter. If you have one of those long barbecue lighters, you could use that if you wanted to. I've done that with earrings before and it worked out really, really nicely. I like the look of it, but I wanted to keep this one a bit more natural looking. Now the flame painting, the beauty of it is you're never really sure what kind of colors you're going to end up with. So once you flame paint it and see what the colors come up with, you know, once you paint it, then you can use beads according to that, which would be really pretty. Now this is a bit finicky, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I have all the time in the world. I am really not in any rush. After the holidays, I've sort of, you know, or during the holidays, I wasn't in the studio much. I just sort of took a break and didn't do a whole lot. I think my last video was on some earrings that I did for, you know, parties and things like that. You know, just recycling or reusing what you already have. And this can be finicky. That's okay. That hole does not want to be. There we go. Like I said, you know, a little bit of patience goes a long way. And if you find the hole is too small, which can happen when you squeeze it closed with your pliers, your chain nose pliers, all I do is just poke a little hole in it again, and then I can just flatten it and make sure there's no harsh edges to it. Now I make my own jump rings, which is fairly simple to do. You just have something round to put your wire around and then wind away, you know, and then you cut them all loose separately. And you could do it with a saw if you really wanted to, or I just tend to use my little snips that I have just like this. So all I do is I take my little coil or spring, whatever you want to call it, that I've already coiled, and then I take my little snips and then I just go like this. Wherever the end is here, that is where I will do the snip, and then I have a little jump ring. It's easy. Simple enough to do. You can make your own. You can buy chain, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. You can buy jump rings too, but I kind of like having things that sort of go together if it's all the same, you know, color or finish and things like that. So it's kind of nice to have it sort of coordinating. And then I just keep going until I'm done. Now sometimes before you make the holes into your little jewelry bowl or whatever you want to call it, see, there's another one. So before you make the holes and you know what color or what kind of beads you're going to use, make sure you have enough beads. So make them all like this first and then put them on, or then do your holes to see how many you need. There's nothing wrong with having extra holes in it. I mean, you could do a whole little punch thing, which would be kind of cute too. Especially if you're going to make something that's a little bit deeper, you could put a tea light in here if you wanted to. I think that'd be quite pretty. You could do a real tea light, or you could do those little electric, you know, the little battery operated one. You could do those too. I think that'd be kind of cute. So it doesn't have to be for jewelry or paper clips. It's just a little trinket dish. You can put whatever you feel like in there. That's what I kind of like about this kind of project, is it has a multi kind of purpose to it. And all I'm doing is really just taking one piece of copper and making it into something useful. Something pretty. This would make a great Christmas gift. I didn't think of this before. Well, maybe I did think of this before, but it's not something that have really tried before. I want to try and do some more projects like this for gifts, obviously, or even for just, you know, trying different things, doing a little test run. I'm just making sure these holes are all kind of, so this definitely gives it a bit more weight, which is kind of nice, really. So it has a bit more substantialness to it. Let's see if I can get these all in here. Like I said, it's a little finicky, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be fine. Make sure your holes are not too far away from the edge, because otherwise you will have a very difficult time getting these in. And then you'll have to get larger jump rings made. I mean, you can make them yourself, obviously, but you want to make it as simple as possible. You don't want to have to make too many different sizes. I try to keep things sort of similar so that I can use it for different projects. So there you have it. So I'm going to throw some paper clips in it. I know, it's kind of weird, but there you go. So that was kind of cute. Obviously, you could put a tea light in there if you really wanted to. You know, something like this even. Like that. I could even light it. Look at that. Flame painting you can also do. But I think the copper will have a really nice finish to it eventually. Because as it ages and you handle it, the prettier it will become. So there you have it. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, check out my blog. And hopefully this will be up there soon. And I will see you later. Bye!